Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the Black Law and Legalized podcast. We're coming back at you, and I can't even call this, we're not even serial anymore. We used to be weekly. We're not even weekly. We're not even monthly at this point because somebody keeps disappearing. They be taking all kinds of damn
That's a lie.
vacations.
Y'all started y'all
Vacations.
started y'all started kissing COVID patients.
Psh,
Just to let you
man.
know. Number
Well,
one, it is summertime. Number two, y'all started kissing COVID patients. Who want to come mess around with y'all?
shit. I know somebody that was sucking COVID. They might not have been kissing it, but they was sucking it though. Anyway, we like to welcome everybody back for this mini episode. Today, what we're going to discuss is PPP. You down with PPP? Yeah, you know me.
We
So,
actually did an episode about PPP. Now we're
we did
talking about PPP forgiveness.
forgiveness. And that's something that I ask for on a regular day because, I don't
You
deserve,
definitely
I
need
don't
it. You
deserve.
you need forgiveness. That is the God honest truth.
So, in case you forgot who the fuck we are, my name is Dan and I am one of your hosts. You can keep up with me on Twitter and on IG at I am Dan on Drugs. Keep up with the show on Black Law.
Huh?
Hmm.
What just happened?
It's been a minute. I'm rusty, son. It's been like 9 weeks,
Wait,
12
hold up,
weeks,
hold up. Somehow
12
you can
weeks.
keep up with me at,
I am
and then
Dan
you
on
can keep
Drugs.
up with the show at Black Law Podcast
Mm-hmm.
across all media platforms.
Something like
And I
that.
am just Ann. And you can't follow me because I really don't post stuff. I'm not a social media aficionado, but you can DM me. You can tell me things, ask me things via Twitter at I Tell Legal Lies.
And we like to also shout out to some of our new listeners. We love our old listeners, but we also love the new listeners too. Makes us
We
feel
love
warm and special.
everybody.
Not everybody. It's a few niggas
No,
I can
you are
name.
definitely special.
Few
You
niggas
don't
I
have
can
to
name.
have. Oh wait, really? That you
Yeah,
don't like?
yeah. Few niggas I can name I don't like.
Really? All right,
Yeah.
talk to me. Talk to me.
Man, you know what? I ain't giving no free publicity on Black Law and Legal Lies. Shit.
ah,
So the PPP loan, right? We just
uh-huh.
had round two of the PPP loans where more money was allocated for small businesses, for mom and pop types of shops, think barber shops, and as Ann said off mic, restaurant workers. Wait, restaurants or restaurant
Hospitality.
worker?
Restaurant. It's the businesses. PPP is geared towards businesses,
Okay.
entities, not people in general. Most of well, I'm not gonna say most. A fair amount of COVID relief and the COVID relief bills went towards individuals. We're currently going through the child tax credit, advanced
Oh
child
yeah.
tax credit, that geared towards individual. That was a part of the COVID relief package. But there were some things, like I said, specifically earmarked for businesses themselves. It's sort of like a trickle down. If I give money to the businesses, they give money to their workers, and we all just get along.
Which
So
is
with this,
bullshit.
no, well, this particular thing, the payroll protection program, PPP, that was something that was specifically earmarked to keep these businesses in business. Knowing that, especially restaurants, COVID, nobody's going anywhere, everybody's on lockdown, restaurants can't survive because no people are coming to eat. So, you know, nobody's traveling. So hotels, there are, once again, nobody's traveling. So entertainment venues, just anything that had to do or anything that revolved around hospitality, basically, Nobody could get out. So all these businesses were going under. They couldn't meet payroll. They couldn't pay rent. Couldn't do a lot of things. So what the government decided to do was, hey, let me throw you a lifeline. We're going to help you stay in business. Hopefully, the money that you're eligible to receive will last you until we come out of this thing. Little did anybody know that jackasses like your people in
Who
Trump
my people?
your half of your people, your other
You
half.
talking about Shake Shack and Roos Chris and all them?
And I'm talking about your Caucasian fellows
Okay, what?
that and who are also heavy Trump supporters and generalized Satanists, I think. Don't quote me on that
No,
one.
they a cabal. They a cabal of pedophiles.
But um as I said, little did anybody know that people would refuse to take vaccines, to socially distance, to wear masks. All this stuff has been so politicized to the point that as of today's recording, we're now seeing upswings in all these states like Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. We're
We're
like
number
number
one.
two.
Oh
No,
yeah,
no, no.
Florida.
We're not number
Florida
one.
got us beat now.
Correct. We're number two. Florida is number one. The bad part, the bad thing about all of this is this disease is now affecting young people. The median age is under 30. So
Hmm.
before it was people who were older, immunocompromised. There was a percentage of younger people that are affected, but you know, and I get it because back in the day, I felt like I was Teflon too. You know, at a certain age, you don't really think about death. You don't really think about it. So they out here
Wait,
free
hold
willy.
on. I just want.
They were just
want
spring
to.
break.
I want to stop you just for a second. So now you are thinking about death, right?
As you get older,
Mm.
as you as you get
Mm.
older,
Mm.
what?
I remember a conversation that
Uh-huh.
we had
Uh-huh.
that
Uh-huh.
people just don't be thinking about death, man. People don't be thinking about death, and so now we thinking
No, no,
about
no,
death.
no. The conversation was about suicide, sir. Let's get
Is
it
that not
correct.
death? Is that not death? I
Anyway,
rest my case.
anyway,
No, but
just throw that mess up.
when I was younger, I would have got the vaccine. I'm thinking because
Maybe.
when I went into say Job Corps, I was in Job Corps for like 3 days before somebody got killed in the bathroom. They got jumped
Yeah.
by the West Indies niggas, and you don't
Oh,
play with them niggas,
Jesus.
man. No, that's some real shit. Somebody got jumped on my second day there. Somebody got jumped in the bathroom. They killed the boy in D.C.
Oh.
In D.C. is you can look it up in the news. I want to say it was 2001, and like the dudes that killed the dude they was trying to hang with me. Like they was in my bunk. And it was like, yeah, man, we did what we had to do. I'm like, shit, if that's what the fuck y'all gotta do at Job Corps, I am out. They done threatened me with everything when I left, because I told them I had been in a detention facility. When I left, I'm like, this shit feels worse than the detention facility. Niggas is dying in here. So they tried to threaten me with, well, you're gonna have to pay
Go.
$500 for this, and get fined for leaving the program. I'm like, fuck
Mhm.
you in that fire. I'm out. Y'all niggas is killing. These niggas is crazy. But the reason I brought that up is I have no. Oh, I had to get I couldn't find my immunization records, so I had to get revaccinated for like MMR or
Mhm.
booster shots for certain.
Mhm.
And it's like it's no big deal. All right, whatever.
Right. See, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier. The vaccine, the social distancing, masking, it's all politicized. It's not that you're afraid to take the vaccine. you won't take the vaccine because it's us against them. That's the mentality. You can't tell me what to do. This is my freedom. But the thing is, government can't tell you what to do, but you get in a car and you put on a seatbelt. Government can't tell you what to do, but the speed limit says 70 and you're going 70 unless you look around and you stop speeding when the police are on the side of the road or state troopers or whatever. Government can't tell you what to do, yet you adhere to all of these other laws that government has created.
Well, two
But
things before I lose them. One, as far as you saying, people aren't scared to take the vaccine. It's just a political thing. No, some people are scared. I was scared in the beginning, to be honest
no,
with you,
I don't.
because it was like
I
in my mind, a rush job. They rushed this shit.
true, and true. I'm not saying that everybody. I'm not saying some people can't take it because their immune systems are so severely compromised that
Right.
taking a vaccine is like a crapshoot for, it's like I could take this vaccine and die. I get that.
Right.
And right, some people are afraid and some people are mistrustful because of, people of color. We've been experimented on for decades,
Shit, we
you
still
know.
are. Mm-hmm.
So some people have, wariness because of that. But I'm talking about people that are 100% adamant about not taking this because government can't tell me what to do. Because my president told me not to take it, you know,
But at the same
while
time,
he
too,
took it.
devil's advocate is so a lot of the things that you name, like the seat belts, the speed limit, and what have you, these are laws. The vaccine,
But
not a law.
who makes the law though?
Well, our
Government.
legislative
And
body, yeah.
correct. So all these people, I just heard this morning, and I'm just shaking my head. And a part of their platform is all about government overreach. That's the key phrase. It's government overreach. Government can't tell me what to do. Like DeSantis. DeSantis, he straight up said that these municipalities can't protect their citizens by requiring masks. They cannot, like, in none of the cities can actually enact mask mandates or the whole vaccine passports or whatever. You just legislated or you signed an executive order to that effect. Because why? So what you just did is basically what you are protesting against, right? You just said y'all can't do that. Are you serious right now? But all because of politics. It's not because masks don't work. It's not because what these mayors are doing is irrational. It's because I have a point, and my point is this, and I'm sticking to it. I am
Hmm.
going to die on this sword,
Shout out to Herman
regardless.
Cain. Shout out to Herman Cain. Rest in peace, brother.
Exactly. He definitely died on that sword. But then, so this morning too, I hear, where was it? Alabama, I think it was. They
Hmm.
had this wasn't it in Alabama? They had this rally for Donald Trump. I
I
think it was
don't keep up
Alabama.
with that shit
I don't
anymore.
I don't either. I just in passing, I heard it and I stopped and I looked. And it's crazy because the reporter in her piece, she was talking about how, she was masked up. Nobody in the whole facility was. Only the reporters had masks on and they were socially distancing and following protocol. And the people inside this place were pissed at them, screaming and hollering at them, telling them to take the mask off, not to get the vaccine, not to do, not to do. And I'm sitting up here like I said, not because you're afraid to take the vaccine, not because you don't think masks work, all to prove a point.
Well, I can say for now, of course, everyone's mileage may vary, but I can say my mama, right? So let's put this out here that the circle that you and I kind of run in are around, majority of us have had COVID, right?
Mhm.
My mama, she has not had COVID. Now she's been out to the grocery stores, to the Walmarts, everything that those of us who actually had COVID have done. And my mama was masking up before it was even mandated. She was masking
Mhm.
up, never caught COVID. So I'm like, I mean, there has to be something to that. So
Right. See, but that's the thing. Masks don't work. That is something else. That's another tagline. Masks don't work because y'all don't wear them right and y'all don't do. But I digress. Anyway,
so
so like I
let's
said, the whole purpose of these PPP loans was a stopgap. It was to get you through to the other side because we were supposed to defeat, you know, this thing quickly and get back to normal life. Well, lo and
three
behold,
3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, is all it would have taken if we would have shut down. Of course, everyone bitched about shutting down. Oh, we can't
right.
shut down our economy. I know people are gonna die, but it's for the greater good of our economy. For 3 weeks, if everyone would have stayed the fuck inside and real essential workers, because let's
Mhm.
face it, some people got by being essential workers by technicalities. They weren't really
Mhm.
essential workers.
Mhm.
People like you, people like myself. Um, but 3 weeks, shit would have died because once you run out of host, what you gonna do? Niggas ain't out here eating
Nothing. You
bats.
right, you die. And that's the thing. But government can't tell me what to do. So, as I said, getting back to what we were talking about, this money was
PPP.
supposed to be right. This money was supposed to, as I said, be a stopgap. It was supposed to carry these businesses until this monster that we are, this enemy that we were fighting against was defeated and things could get back to business as usual. Guess
The
what?
invisible scourge.
Guess what? It is back. And as I said, we're number two on the list. Florida's number one, I think, followed
Last week
behind
we were number
Alabama.
one.
Right.
Last
So
week we were
I
number one, and I got not to cut you off, but yeah, to cut you off. Uh, I got freaked out last week because fully vaccinated people. It's no secret that Becky works at a hospital. We talk about that infrequently, but it's been discussed on this podcast. Medical professionals that are fully vaccinated with the Pfizer vaccine. Let me tell you, people, the Pfizer vaccine, it's no good. It's no, they are not only COVID positive to where it's like a false COVID positive. They're doing the rapid test, the PCR test, which is a more in-depth test, and they have symptoms. So that right there sums it up to where you can chalk some of them up to maybe a false positive, but when you have the fucking symptoms, you can't breathe, you
right,
coughing up your
right,
lung. Yo, this shit
right.
is real. So they're called what? Break
Breakthrough
breakthrough
infections.
infections.
Right. Because
I
Delta,
got scared.
Delta, we way down in the Delta right now. We in the Delta,
Absolutely.
and Delta is doing the most right now. Like I received an alert from the Louisiana Department of Health. They reported, I think it was almost 8,000 new cases today.
And we were
Today,
at less than 1,000 per week,
1,000. Correct.
like before last week, less than 1,000 a week. Now we
Correct.
are up to eight. And like I said, it freaked me out. Should I tell the story? Should I tell the story? Because to make homegirl look bad. I'm only gonna tell half of the story. I'll tell half of the
Wait,
story.
where you gonna tell? You already told the story.
I
Then you
told
then
you
you
the
put our
story.
then you put our business out there on Twitter.
Uh-uh. What was
Oh,
that? That was her reneging in spades. Oh,
oh yeah,
non-black
yeah.
ass
That was
motherfucker.
her
That shit
that
dead.
was a spade business, right?
And then her peoples want to talk about some if you first of all, they don't bid. They
Oh,
you
so
know
it's
what?
open. Every hand open. Where's the
I
fun
can't. I
in that?
can't. I can't. You don't bid, but board is 6, okay? Which everyone who
Wait,
is this
wait.
color, everyone who is this color knows that board is
It's
not
4.
6. 4
Right,
because
but wait.
it is the board.
Right, hold up, wait. So if you don't bid, how can board be a number? If every
So,
hand is open, how can
Florida
you
shit.
even so if you don't get 6, what happens?
Nothing.
So what's the point?
This is some Florida. This is the most Florida shit, Ron DeSantis ass shit. Cause I'm sitting here, okay, when I keep score in spades, right? I don't use the left hand. I do that at the end. So if you say 2 books over, I'll just put 2, right? And then if you 3 books over, I'll put 3. And then at the end, when it's time to tally up, I'll put the 1 beside it. So it's 13, 12. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Whatever.
mm, mm,
We usually play the 500. If you want a quick game, 200, right?
right?
They was doing board is 6. Anything above 6 is 1 point. So if you got 9 books, you got 3 points.
3 points?
Yes, 3 points, period. And I'm like, how
Oh,
the
wait. So if you so because you don't bid, so if you got 9, it's not 63?
nope.
It's just
It
3?
3. And then if you
Wow.
get bored, you get 0. If you get 6, you get 0. So I'm like, if this ain't the most, and then the game was to 10. So I'm like, this the most Florida shit. I was getting mad because I learned
Florida man.
how to play spades in a correctional
The hood.
facility, and we
No.
took that shit. That shit was
That's a
serious.
yeah, you don't yeah, that's some Florida man stuff for real,
So
Florida man.
to get to the short story is Becky went to work. One of her co-workers went on vacation, which a lot of us are doing right now because it's
Right,
outside's open, outside. She
right,
came back
correct.
with a cold. So she
Or what
goes,
she thought
gets
was a cold.
what she thought was a cold, goes and gets tested. Turns out she's COVID positive. And she was in the office with a bunch of other people. So Becky goes in because they got these split schedules. She was in the office with the other people that was in contact with this person. So she calls me and is like, yo, one of my coworkers that's vaccinated got COVID. She was around these people. I was around these people. Da 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 da. So I'm like, fuck quarantine. So I go quarantine for 4 days until we can get tested. They usually say 4 or 5 days after possible exposure, you get tested. So after that,
Correct.
I'm like, you know what? I don't trust nobody. If I can't trust the motherfucker that's living in this house, I don't trust nobody. So anyway, that's just to say, yeah, Delta is running rampant. We were number 1 last week. I got freaked out. Governor got on TV. They talking about RSV. I said, what's that? That's some new COVID shit. RSV. They got that's like HSV, man. So it's getting scary again out here. I haven't been
Mhm.
this alarmed since last summer.
And it's the truth. And the crazy thing is, like I said, I've been watching the numbers, you get the little alerts here. And what you said, something you said earlier, and I was like, yeah, man, because I remember when it was like, oh, 100 and something new cases reported. And then it would be like 60 new cases reported, 14 new cases reported. 700,
Hmm.
it was 700 and 7,800 and something, I believe it was. And I looked at it and I was like, y'all serious right
And
now? And you know who's at the
according to your
epicenter?
boy, according to your
What?
boy, Caesar's under the bridge.
Hmm.
People, and I looked it up after he had sent out that message, and he wasn't lying. It was all up and down the timeline. There was 75 people with COVID in Caesars. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, damn, they could
Mm-hmm.
fit 75 people in Caesars.
Oh yeah. Caesar's huge.
I ain't
It's a
never
hole in
been.
the wall, but it's big. But
I ain't never
anyway,
been.
yeah, but see, that's the thing. It'd be different. Like I said, if everybody got the shot or shot, masked up,
Or natural
everybody doing
immunity.
the right thing, following following the protocols, it would have been all right. But road, Everybody gone rogue. People doing their own thing. You know, that whole give me liberty or give me death. Guess what? That shit is reality because you have the choice to be free to do what you want to do, but you also choose. Some people are choosing to die. As I was watching what is CNN? It might have been CNN or MSNBC something. And this lady, they were interviewing this lady. Her mom was on a ventilator. Her whole family, they were all against the vaccine. They were against masking up. You know, believe the lie that it was a hoax in the beginning. Huge Trump supporters. The woman said, I know if my mother knew then what she knows now, she would have followed every protocol. She would have gotten vaccinated when she had the opportunity. Her
I
mother
don't
had
feel
been
sorry.
her mother had been at the point that they had the interview. Her mother had been on a ventilator for 100 and something days.
Pull it.
She said she lost just within her family group. She lost 3 aunts, a cousin. I know she said 5 family members, or like 3 aunts, a cousin, and somebody else. And she said, we regret. And that is 100%, you know, hindsight is a mother.
But it
It
shouldn't
really
even
is.
be hindsight because talking about if back
No,
then
because
she
you,
would have known. She knew the same information was out there.
yeah,
The
but the thing
information has
is,
not changed.
but you
Vaccinate,
know
wear a
what?
mask.
Right, but it's the cult of Trump though. Think about it.
Well, I'm a
Reason why Jim Jones was able to kill all the people that he killed. The reason why
you talking about Jimmy
Charles
from Harlem?
the reason why Charles Manson was able to send these people out to cause mayhem.
But it's not
It's all
it's not just the Trump
it's all
supporters
indoctrination.
because
It's
I
all
can tell you
indoctrination.
one of our people right here in Louisiana, it was in the city of Baton Rouge. This brother, he had of course underlying conditions. I think he was in his 40s, passed away from COVID, right? He refused. His doctor told him you need to get vaccinated. Other medical professionals told him you need to get vaccinated. He refused. He passed away from COVID. So at his memorial service, his mother set up a walk up vaccination at the memorial service. There were dozens and dozens of people at this memorial service. Guess how many people got vaccinated?
Probably 5.
Three.
Mhm.
Three
Yeah.
people. But then
Mm.
she's according to the mother afterwards, after all the Delta news started coming out, people were calling her like, hey, look, I think I am gonna go ahead and do this. So I mean
Oh wait, well yeah, you know, that report, the alert that I got, I also got an alert that vaccinations are going up like 3, they're tripling. So people are afraid. They
our
don't
vax
want to see.
our vaccination numbers are skewed. And I learned this watching the governor's press conference, right? So when we look at a state like Mississippi, they're at or around 34% of their
Mhm,
population is vaccinated.
mhm.
Alabama, something like 36, 37.
All in the
Louisiana,
30s, right?
we tout being 40% vaccinated, right? But there's an asterisk. Our 40% includes people who have only gotten one dose of a
One
two-dose
shot,
shot.
right?
Right.
Mhm.
So we can't truthfully say that 40% of our population is vaccinated. We can say 40% have started, or maybe
No,
we
we
can
can
look at the
say
real
40%.
numbers.
We can say 40% are vaccinated, and the reason why we can say that 40% of the population is vaccinated is because we're not saying 40% of the population is fully vaccinated. We're saying 40% of the population is vaccinated.
Now you're speaking lawyer. And I don't
I'm
speak
not.
that shit. I speak
I'm
real.
not.
I speak street.
I'm
I speak
not.
street.
I'm
All
not.
right. So let's wrap this PPP shit up. So you got to pay the money back or no?
unless unless you have the opportunity to ask for forgiveness. And so what PPP did was it said, tell us how much you're spending on payroll, rent, um, phone, like utilities, internet, transportation, if your business has a vehicle, just certain things. So tell us what you're spending on that, multiply it by I believe it was two and a half, maybe two. Multiply it, we'll give you that amount of money. And what it was supposed to do, the cover period, 8 weeks or 24 weeks. You spend the money. Then you tell the government, look, I've spent all the money. I spent it all on what you told me I could spend it on. Forgive this debt. Forgive this loan. So you put together your 941s, which are your quarterly tax records that you send to the IRS, payroll tax records, and you put them together. You put together proof that you spent money on utilities and rents and all the other things that the government said that you could spend this money on, and you show that you actually tried to maintain the number of workers that you had. You either, if you laid them off, you brought them back, or you got new workers. You used it the way the government said that you should have used it. The government looks at it, they go, yep, you did everything right. The debt is now clear.
So do
So,
you have to spend 100%? Now, I like I'm looking at you right now and it looks like you're sitting in a legal aid office somewhere. So, I mean that fire extinguisher, that shit don't even look like it's up to code, but it I have some inside knowledge that you have worked with some people with their PPP loans and their PPP forgivenesses. Now,
mhm,
my question is, one, do you have to spend 100% of the money?
yes, you have to spend it all within the time period. Like I said, you have a 24, you have a either 8 week or a 24-week period. And within that 8 week or 24-week period, you have to spend the money, or are going to spend the money on the things that the government says. But you have 60% of the money has to be spent on payroll. The other
Okay.
40%,
Just rent
right? Because like
and
I said,
utilities.
no, the rent, and you could actually pay the interest on loans that you had prior to a certain period of time. You can spend it on, as I said, utilities and internet, transportation. Oh, personal protective gear for your workers.
My 9 millimeter.
You know, that can go in there as well. So, like I said, 60%, because this is called the payroll protection. So it's about giving money to the workers, also about keeping the lights on, and keeping the business in its normal place. But yeah, 60% to your workers for payroll, the other
What
40% on. Mhm.
what happens when the money runs out? So you get,
So
let's
that's
just
the
say,
thing.
$1 million, okay? $1 million
Right,
is your PPP loan,
right.
and you have a 24-week period. You
Hmm.
blow through that million in 15 weeks. Now you still have 9 weeks left. Now what?
Hmm. Apply for another one, because there were PPP one and PPP two.
I'm talking about
Government
PPP
said,
two.
"Hey, we realize people need more money," because, like I said, this was just supposed to be a until we get out of this mess. We're still not out of this mess.
And you are frozen. You must be on that shitty ass, your microchip ain't kicked in or something. See what I'm saying? She on that shitty ass vaccine type of time. Her microchip ain't kicked in. And It looks like I'm on my own here. So yeah, you ain't got to pay none of that shit back. I mean, you just keep it. You invest it in Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin's down right now, but Bitcoin is going to come back. It's coming back, y'all. So take your PPP money, invest it in Bitcoin, don't pay your employees, and bam, profit. Now let's see what happened here. Well, that was unfortunate. We had some technical difficulties and I lost my co-host. Well, I lost Anne's recording due to some internet issues and what have you. But to summarize the rest of the episode, as Anne said, with the PPP loan, 60% of it had to go to payroll. The other 40% has to go to pretty much overhead, things like rent, transportation, utilities, and applying for forgiveness for the PPP loan. Like I was thinking mom and pop type of businesses, like yo, that shit must be hard to do. Apparently, it is not hard. You don't need any special skills. You if you went through a banker to apply for the PPP loan, you would just submit all of your documents to the banker who would then forward it to the SBA for the SBA's consideration. If you went directly to the SBA, you would just go to the SBA's website to find out how to apply for forgiveness. And the only tricky thing is going to be the record keeping. Things like payroll, you have to submit your payroll. So if you use one of the big payroll companies, think companies like APS, ADP, Paychecks, they should have all of this stuff readily available. Now, if you do your own payroll manually, be prepared to dig for some records because those records have to be submitted. And what happens is when you apply for forgiveness, they're not necessarily going to forgive you right away. It's just going into the PPP loan is going into forbearance until they make a final decision. Now, if you don't apply for forgiveness, your PPP loan is still going into forbearance, but it's only going into forbearance for 10 months. And then you have to start paying the shit back. So make sure that you apply for forgiveness. Even if you don't necessarily qualify, fuck it. It's not going to hurt anything. So that pretty much wraps up this episode of Black Law and Legal Lies. And we're going to call it a special episode because Anne actually recorded today. She was actually available to record, even though it was remotely. And it looked like she was recording from a prison cell legal library department. You know, we're going to take what we can get here. Hopefully, we will see you guys next week. If not, it'll be the week after that. If not, it might be another week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks. You know, hey, we on Anne's schedule here. Anyway, keep up with the show on all social media platforms at Black Law Podcast. You can keep up with me on Twitter and on IG at I am Dan on Drugs. Keep up with Anne on Twitter, where she doesn't respond to anybody unless it's a DM, at I Tell Legal Lies. Until next time, people, peace.